Optic black.
Hey everyone, Alex is here from Radd Time.
Yo, yo, yo!
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 And today we are looking at the leader of the X-Men. This is Scott Summers' Cyclops. This is the premium format by Sideshow Collectibles. And yeah, part of their X-Men line, which got put on hold for a while and hopefully is back. So let's go through this and see what we think.
Yo, yo, so like Alex was saying, today we're going to go over my piece. I got this in at the start of the year. It's quite funny actually, I've had a really slow sort of 2018 bar January. In January I bought 5 pieces in 1 month. So, 5, yeah. So I bought Cyclops, I got Thanos in, I got the Silver Surfer in, I got Gambit in, and I got Ivy in, all in January. So they all came around that time. So I haven't done anything since, and we're now in... You know, I'm getting a bit, I'm jonesing a little bit. But I got this piece. I actually decided to pull the trigger on this when I started to see the changes to the XM Studios design, which the original concept I really liked. It's very...
That's bullshit.
No, it's true.
No, you were doing a deal in September for this.
I was.
And then that fell through.
Yeah.
And then we went to Simply Toys.
Yeah.
You saw it at Simply Toys, and that's when you wanted it.
Yeah, but I didn't go actually for the deal until I started to see things. I wouldn't spend any money. I was looking to trade for that piece, so I wasn't going to spend any money. That way, I could have sold it and got the new. But as soon as I saw the changes for the XM one, which I don't like, I decided that time to invest in this one. Obviously, this is sort of an old school piece. When it first originally came out, like Alex was saying, there was a few things that people didn't like, but it's actually grown in a little bit of stature since.
Could that be because it's the only one on the market for a while?
Potentially, I would imagine so. I would have thought so. I wanted something, you know, the original concept from XM was the best Cyclops concept ever, and they changed a lot of it, and now I'm kind of pissed. So, out of principle, I'm sort of like, nah. Because
the original concept was basically when we were younger, there was 94, 95 Flare, was it?
Yeah.
And cards, collectible cards.
Yeah. And
he's basically shooting his beam at the sky,
screaming.
And that's always been my favourite Cyclops image.
Yeah.
That was probably the first time I kind of, because I think. Going back a little bit, I think when you're a kid,
we watched
when I was a kid, and you watch the cartoon, you read the comic. When you're younger, you think Cyclops is a dick and Wolverine's pretty cool. I watched all the cartoons recently, and you realise that Cyclops is actually very reasonable, and Wolverine's a dick.
Yeah,
and Wolverine's trying to fuck his wife. So you're like watching it like, I used to see this a really different way.
Yeah, it's totally is. Because you as a kid, you like the rebel, the one who's getting away with everything.
But then when I was a kid, that was the first image I saw of Cyclops where I was like,
Cyclops
actually, that's a pretty cool image of it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Alex. We both grew up with the same sort of comics and the Jim Lee stuff and the same sort of cartoon style. And the XM one was that style, and they've changed it a lot, modernised it now, and now it doesn't look like anything that I remember. So I purchased this one. This is definitely Jim Lee sort of style Cyclops. It's deceptively big for how it looks on camera. It's bigger than you think. Yeah. In video and in pictures, you always think, oh, it's quite a small piece. But when the figure is actually quite sizey. I've actually measured the figure. Actually, I would imagine he's like easy 16.
I mean, as a character, I think he's like 6'2".
Yeah, 6'2", 6'1". I think he's big.
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah, good shape. But we'll start down. You know, I picked this up. I got this reasonable. There was a little bit of damage to the fist, which the guy showed me loads of pictures, and I was like, yeah, it's not that bad. There's a couple of little marks where it's nicked somewhere, which is fine. And light up all works, everything's all fine. The coat, before I put it on, is mint. I just want to warn everybody here, anybody listening, if you have the coat, right, you have 2 choices. You put it on and it looks fucking boss, it looks absolutely amazing on, but it will never be the same once you've tried to put it on. Because the way that this piece comes, you get the base, you get the figure and the arms separate and the head. This is the regular, the exclusive come with an unmasked head where he's pulling off his glasses. I really don't like that portrait at all. In fact, I hate it. So it wasn't ever in the running for what I wanted. But trying to get these arms into this fucking coat is horrendous because this material is like a what do you call it?
Polyurethane?
Polyurethane material. Once it stretches a little bit, it starts to crack. And then you can see the white underneath it because it's really thin. So once you start giving it a bit, and you need to get the arm in, because what you have is like, this is like a U-shaped thing, and you're trying to get that into a sleeve. You've got to sort of pull it all back and then try and pull it round, and it doesn't work. Yeah. It's the brutal truth. And they both are slightly V-shaped things. So it's really, really, really difficult.
Could also be that it's 8 years old that's done that as well.
I think it did it from the beginning. I spoke to people and they said from day one getting it out and putting it on was a bastard and it pulled all the material.
I actually remember one of the first videos I watched.
Yeah.
And there was someone when we started watching them, and there was someone putting together a Cyclops.
Yeah.
And I remember, it may have been like Whispering Wind or someone like that.
Yeah,
and I remember him having a fucking nightmare doing it.
Yeah, it is really, really difficult, but it's really, it looks really good on. It's lined inside, it's different colours inside. Now the collar's got all that sort of cotton look to it.
Like
in the inside, it's really, really nice. And the brown is desperately needed to break up these colours because it is very bright, this piece. The yellow is fucking crazy bright. And
that took me by surprise, literally, when I've seen these before. I've not really seen one up close. I've seen them behind glass. And by seeing this actually like this under these lights, it's almost like a fluorescent colour.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it totally is.
It's really bright, but it's very vibrant, and I think it does really work for this character.
And certainly putting it in where there's no lights anywhere. I've got it in the DTOF. It really does. It does grab you wherever you put it if there's not a lot of light.
Let's start low. Sorry.
Yeah. So okay, we get on to the base. This caused a lot of controversy too, because this was one of the first characters to come out from the X-Men line with not the X base. It seems to be that what they did, what Sideshow was, is if they were standing straight-legged, just standing straight, they had the X base. Cyclops, Gambit, Rogue, blah blah.
Cyclops.
No, Cyclops. Sorry, Colossus, Gambit, Rogue, Jean Grey, all them type of ones. Even the newer stuff, the Jean Grey is the same. Psylocke, yes, she's on one as well.
Yeah.
But they're both two-legged standing
but
straight.
You also have the Avengers who do that as well.
But this one, and there's one other, there's another character, Wolverine.
Yeah.
And obviously Sabretooth as well.
Yeah.
But this and that have an environmental base. That causes a lot of problems because if you're mixing them together, it does look off. It looks really, really off. So good for me because I have the Wolverine, and I only have the one X base with the Gambit. But the Rock's actually done fantastically well. There really is lots of big, small, very sort of textured, very sharp. I mean, you could rip my gloves literally by putting your hand across it. It's a shame. It's got this lovely Magneto helmet on the back, but it's at the back, which is and it's really at the back. I mean, it don't get any more at the back than that.
It's almost like you wouldn't know it's there unless you know it's there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like literally you're not going to see that's on display. And you've got these kind of rocks inside the Magneto helmet, which almost makes it look like it can come off.
Yeah.
I've been warned by George not to try and take it off. The rocks inside are a totally different colour. It's kind of like
brown.
They're trying to make it kind of reflect the colour of the helmet, which that rock wouldn't do.
Yeah.
It's kind of got, because it's got like a reddy reflecting.
Oh, totally, yeah.
So that doesn't
like
work.
The inside of this is reflecting on the back of the. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it don't work.
No, but
it's not exactly the cleanest and neatest paintwork on there, so it's not. That's not great.
But then also, what I do really like, because Sideshow don't really do this, but the button is here. It's like just a little rock, and that will turn on.
See there, the lights are on. It's not the brightest.
No, not turn on. I'll turn it back on.
Yeah, there. It's not the brightest, but it is. You can see it's on.
Yeah. So basically, so it's quite clever. The switch is fucking wobbly as hell.
Yeah, it is. It does. Don't mess with it because it doesn't come out or nothing, but it is kind of loose. But them connectors are like that. So it's like on a spring, isn't it? And
then you work your way up. So you got the fluorescent yellow boots with the kind of orange shading in there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sculpted. The sculpt's fine on the boots. You've got nice little cracks on there.
Really dated for me. I mean, I think you can see that.
I don't think there's an issue with the sculpt on these boots. I think the paint hides a lot of it because I think it's quite heavy. Especially if you look around the back there's all this kind of stitching. Like sculpt, and then there's a big blob of paint which just kind of hides everything. So I don't think there's an issue with the sculpt. I think it's more the kind of heavy paint.
I definitely.
I mean, I talk about the boots. But
I mean, definitely up here and across the straps, it's thickly applied. All of the paint. You work your way up. He's got the odd, little buttons here that break up the yellow. They're nice, but these straps on the boots and everywhere, they're almost sort of like non-existent. They're almost like it's really been heavily applied paint. It's the same with the trousers. As you start moving your way up, the musculature is great. The body physique is perfect because it is. Cyclops is actually quite buff for his. I mean, he's like one of them guys you see walking about the gym where when you ask him how much do you weigh. And he tells you, you're like, fuck off. You must be like 2 stone heavier than that. Like a guy that says, oh, I'm like 13 stone, but they look like they're 15 stone because they're so well proportioned and lean muscle. And he's one of those type of guys. I'd really love to see a Daniel Bell sculpt the Cyclops. It would be one of the guys.
He did one, didn't he?
Did he? Which one?
Yeah, he's done one for a custom.
I haven't seen it. Which one?
Well, he did one, I think, maybe RCB. And it may be...
No, that's Sosa, isn't it? That's Cyclops? I think that's so
no, there's an action one, I think, standing
I don't know.
It's one of his last custom projects.
I have to see it. But as you start moving up, I mean, the one thing about not having the coat is it's fantastic physique underneath and the arms and the shoulders and everything else.
But the seams for the arms are quite bad.
The seams are quite bad. On this arm, on this one here, the arm that's up, from behind, not from the front. Only from behind can you see it again, it's like the Silver Surfer. There's like a V wedge where you can sort of see a gap. I really think though when you look, I mean, you look at the close-ups of the belt buckles and they are horrendous. They are fucking horrendous. They have no individuality, no detail whatsoever. It was the blessing of companies like XM that stopped this sort of half-assed shit being made.
Well, it's just because pouches are exactly the same size.
Yeah, same size.
Exactly
And even if they go around your body, they're moving up and around, and they're all exactly the same. And
especially like when you normally get the ones here from XM, and they've got the creases.
That's Aaron Ray Perez. Aaron Ray Perez does that.
XM does it as well.
Yeah, they sort of bow up, bend in, and they have no individuality whatsoever. And they needed a little bit of gold, a little button, a little cap. Clasp, something to make it real.
Ribbits.
Yeah, I mean, it's right off the pages, but again, it's where you turn around and you say, how does 2D translate into 3D statue form? And this is what happens when you try and take a 2D concept and you don't think for yourself and you just think, oh, I'm just going to do it as it is. And that's what you end up with, which is...
The chest logo is quite rough as well.
Yeah, it is definitely around the outside. I kind of like the introverted... the red deep in and the black over the top, but the yellow around the edges is not the best.
It's very sloppy.
Not the
I
best.
actually think I don't think it's the sculpt. I think it's the heavy paint.
Yeah.
But then if you go on to go to the coat first. So I mean the coat, the actual George says the zips work on the sleeves. We won't do them now because pulling the zip off.
And also as well it's really tight.
Yeah, but I do think the coat is actually. It's done really well.
It is very, very nice.
It is a really nice coat.
Good stitching, good, different colours, light browns, beiges in it.
Because sometimes the issue with some media is the stitching can be normal size on smaller clothes, if that makes sense. So if you have something that's quarter scale, but the stitching's still something...
Like your jeans. Like Tim's jeans.
But this has actually got the smaller stitching and it does look...
It does look good.
Pretty good.
It looks good. I really love the collar. My favourite part's the inside of the collar, just where you can see it sort of. It looks like it's got that nice cushion in there, like you imagine on a coat.
Ramon lost his.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I really like this. I love the sculpt and I love the details that are in it, and I love the colours.
What about? Do you see where? It's all of his body. The blue is all smooth.
Yeah.
And then you go onto the neck, and it's all like he's got like a smooth material here, and then on his head it looks like it's like leather.
Yeah, it's like I think what it's meant to be is like an under part.
Okay.
I don't know if that's how it's meant to be. That's how it looks. It's like the suit comes over the top, and then the neck bit and the head part is like all separate. I mean, I like it because it adds texture, and I think it's needed. It's got a lot of detail in there. What I think is really strange is I think what people really disliked was the goggles. You know, his visor.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit bulky and a bit big, and not very seamless. I kind of like it because it jumps out. The one thing that is actually strange on this, more than anything else, I was saying to Alex, is that the top of the head, where all the hair, where the browns and the blacks are, what happens is they've painted the hair waviness into the statue, as opposed to that being the sculpt. The sculpt actually is relatively low detail, and the paint is sort of like put in there to make it look like the hair's waving, going all over the place. It is a little bit crude
because the dark paint is in the grooves.
Yeah, but if you go over the top, they're not really grooves too much. It's more they've done that with the paint, which is nice. But it is a bit clumpy around the front. Definitely, the skill-wise has gone up so much more than when this was made. I like the portrait. I like the stoic head. I love the pose. You know, there's lots of positives about this piece that I really like.
So I'm just looking at the gloves as well. Details on the gloves are great. The stitches there.
Yeah.
But the same kind of thing where the paint is quite heavy.
Yeah. Almost where the fingers joined, didn't they? Them first two.
His thumb looks like a chicken drumstick there. Look.
His thumb looks great. Nothing wrong with that. Thumb looks perfect. But there is a little bit of a join between them two fingers where the paint's been applied quite heavy. I would imagine that's less of an obvious thing on certain other pieces. But there's a lot of good positives to this piece. It fits in perfectly in scale with XM Wolverine, with Sideshow Gambit. It is really good in that way. The portrait's nice and the pose is great. I really love the pose quite a lot. But I really think when you look at this piece, you know, we've just had Better Ray Bill out from XM, and you really see how far the game's actually come, you know. It's the same with things like Lobo. If you get Lobo out here, you know, every single part of this would be highlighted. You know, the straps would all be different. You'd all see. I mean, I'm not talking just about XM changing things, you know, but I think that they made companies sort of have to up their game a little bit. Certainly Sideshow.
I like it. I mean, sorry, I'm just looking it over. I mean, this is the closest I've been to it for forever. So, I mean, I'm looking over it now and I'm kind of taking it in, but I actually do really like it. I think as a classic looking Cyclops, I like it. I think it's a great piece, and I think that if the paint was better, I don't think there's an issue with the sculpt on a lot of it. I think that there are bits that could be finessed a little better, but I think that overall I don't think a lot of it is the sculpt. I think a lot of it is really heavy paint.
I think you're right.
And I don't think there's much of an issue with it. I say this coat is fantastic. I just think cleaner paint, and this has definitely got up a few marks, and I actually wouldn't mind owning one of these, to be honest.
Yeah, it's quite surprising.
Yeah, I'd be happy with this in my collection, and it makes me pisses me off a little bit, because when we kind of started and this or whenever this came out, people were trying to offload these stupidly cheap.
Yeah.
People were trying to get rid of these. People hated them.
Yeah.
And at the time, you couldn't sell them. No one wanted them.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish I picked one up
then.
at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I think you're right.
I think they went up, and I think they're kind of coming back down again. But I think
it fluctuates all the time.
Yeah.
It fluctuates all the time. But I mean, what I would say is what I paid for this. I would pay it. I'd pay it again every time. I mean, I paid.
I'd say 50 quid. Yeah.
I paid less than 300 for this piece, and I think I paid about 280 for it shipped. Yeah. Which I think is a fantastic price. Statue value for money wise, all day long. I probably would have paid another £150. I think around £450. I would be happy to pay for this piece. You know, I always have like a ceiling on certain statues, and if I wait. I'm very patient in that regard, and I think everybody should try a little bit of that and a little bit less of the spastic addiction where you just go, something's come out and all of a sudden, like that Vegeta, like it comes out and everyone wants to buy it all of a sudden. It's fucking crazy. You shouldn't be buying it now. Sit back.
It's time to sell, I'll tell you that.
It's time to sell, yeah. It's time to sell, not buy. But that's the point. I mean, have a ceiling and have an idea. I saw this, like Alex was saying, I saw this in Singapore without the coat, and I really liked it. And then I thought to myself, I should try and find this for the right money.
It is exactly so where you would pose it. that exactly hides that fucking
Yeah,
the helmet.
exactly.
Exactly where
It couldn't get
literally
any
like
more
I would
wrong
pose
place.
it. I don't know if it's right, but I'd pose it like this, just slightly angled, so he's kind of looking up.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
literally,
to that side.
it is like covered totally by
Yeah,
where I exactly where I
it's
was.
like that. That's exactly it. There. So it's like sort of there, slightly up and to one side, where you get a bit of the body sculpt. We see the coat, you see the details.
Why don't they do that? It's just like
it's nuts.
It's like maybe it was just like meant to be
an
just
Easter
like
egg that no one. It is. It's an Easter egg, isn't it? It's a little nod to the battle and the fight and everything else. I really like it. I really think size wise, I've got him, Gambit, and Wolverine all in one DTOF unit, and they look fantastic together. But like I say, he's deceptively, let's have a look. So to the top of the head, how big do you think he is?
You're going down 1 cube, you fucking tape measure.
What do you mean? That's the top of his head there.
What is he, like 18, 19 inches?
That's 19, yeah. So he's exactly 48.5 centimetres.
Yeah.
If you go in with, you're going to do it this way, this sort of pose, you're going with your deep. So where's that there? It's around 13.5, 14 at a stretch, which is 35.5 centimetres, which is just all DTOF money.
Yeah.
And then from the base all the way through to the hand, it's no more than 11 inches on your worst day. I mean, that's generous. It's probably more like 10. So it's about 26, 27 centimetres. That's like perfect.
Yeah.
Not very heavy, fits on it's not crazy, probably weighs about 4 kilos. Really, really.
Do you know what the S was?
Yeah, this is 1,000, the regular is 1,000.
It's quite low.
Yeah, and the exclusive, I think, is even lower. I think it's about 400. I think it's really low X, because it didn't go down very well, that with the glasses and the screaming head. He's got a bit more of a screaming face with his teeth showing.
Yeah.
And with this level of paint on this at this time, his face is even worse. With the finer details of the teeth.
Did they have the, no they didn't.
What?
I was going to say, did they have the X in Singapore, but they didn't.
No, it was the regular. No coat. Because in a climate, if you're from a place where it's particularly humid, this coat will turn to dust over there.
Well, it's that logo. Logo doesn't age very well.
Yeah, it will turn. It's the same material. It's exactly the same, pretty much material. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a Cyclops that will fit in with XM Wolverine and get the other sort of X-Men, he is perfectly scaled. He is perfectly balanced. I really like it, and I really think, for the money that I got it for, I wouldn't sell it for anywhere near that price if someone wanted it.
I like it a lot more than I thought it was going to.
Yeah. Surprising, because despite the flaws and things that you talk about, it's still quite favourable. You still I think it's one of them things where it's sort of a nod to its time. I think something about that, it's not always good to have all of this, it's sometimes a little bit of something from, the earlier years is a nice touch. Sometimes it just looks shit, but I really... I'm with you. I think it's a real nice piece.
Definitely.
Something about that mixed media and a sculptor just like. I always have. Yeah.
No, I think to myself, like, I've seen this for sale so many times, and I've just been like, yeah, fuck that. And I quite like it. I think if it comes up cheap, I might pick up an exclusive just to piss off George.
To be honest with you, man, I would recommend it to you for your setup with some of the pieces that you have, because you have some nice pieces this will go with for your X-Men line. I would advise. I mean, we pretty much got about 40%, 45% of the same stuff anyway. What the fuck difference does this make? But yeah, man, let us know what you think, and I know there's a lot of good mates of mine out there that are waiting on the XM thing, and some really like the changes. How do you feel about it? Did you see the original concept that we shared with you? Do you think that it's better, worse, and different? For me, this is the epitome of the Jim Lee style from the cartoon that me and Alex used to watch as kids. I mean, we loved that cartoon. Saturday morning, wasn't it? Saturday morning cartoon. That was fucking brilliant, that was. And this is right out of that.
Well, that Spider-Man came out around the same time.
Yeah, similarly, yeah. I think a couple of years.
This was 93, Spider-Man was 94.
Yeah, that's it. So, same Saturday morning television, isn't it? So, thanks for joining us, and let us know what you think about it, and I'll try and send Alex some photos and some pictures of it set up with the Wolverine and the Gambit in the DTOF, so you can see how it looks. Peace.
Does that come off?
No. Don't fucking pull it off. Yeah, sure it does, yeah.
Does it not?
No.
Shit.
Comes attached, man.
Really?
It's all fucking big. I know how big is fucking his head. We put it up to the Magneto XM one, it's like fucking tiny.
Should do that.
It is smaller. That's
Does
massive.
that really not come off?
No.
It looks like it comes off.
No.
Can I pull it?
It doesn't come off.
But the way it looks, you would like well think that would come off.
Yeah, it does.
You
look
like boxing
yeah,
out.
Yeah, it does. You go, yeah. So, right, okay.
Optic blast!